Developing tonight, the body of Charlie Kirk is back in his home state of Arizona, and officials in Utah are updating the investigation into the assassination of the conservative activist. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Just a few moments ago, investigators in Utah released some new video showing a person of interest in this case. Let's give you a look here at what authorities want people to see. No questions were taken about the person of interest who's seen leaving the scene after the shooting. Authorities, it was a brief news conference here. The authorities in Utah said the FBI director is on the ground there. They're receiving thousands of tips from the public as this investigation unfolds, and the search for the shooter in this case continues here. Tonight, Fox's Kaylee Sheeler has been following the latest developments in this case all day, and she has the latest tonight from Orem, Utah.
The gunman who fatally shot Charlie Kirk is still on the run, but authorities have gathered more evidence and released new details about the suspect. Investigators out early Thursday morning combing through the rooftop where they say a sniper fired the shot that killed the conservative activist. Now they're asking for the public's help to find this man, a person of interest dressed in dark clothing, a hat, and sunglasses. And they say they recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle they think was used by the shooter located in the woods near the college campus.
FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon.
Authorities reportedly found messages on the weapon and ammunition, though their meaning remains unclear.
We find ourselves today hunting a murderer who chose to violate our rights, the rights of an individual within this country.
The FBI is offering a reward of up to $100,000 for anyone with information that leads to the identification and arrest of the gunman.
The suspect blended in well with a college institution.
The Turning Point USA CEO was a close friend and ally of President Trump, who announced he will award Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously.
Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people.
In Orem, Utah, Kaylee Schuyler, Fox News.
And as we mentioned earlier, Kirk's body has now arrived back in his home state of Arizona. His casket and his family were flown from Utah to Phoenix aboard Air Force Two. Vice President J.D. Vance was a close friend of Kirk. He shared a remembrance in a lengthy post to social media, calling Kirk a man of courage, faith, and profound loyalty. A memorial growing outside the Phoenix headquarters of Kirk's conservative political organization, Turning Point USA. Mourners have been leaving behind flowers and other items there. Many of them say they will continue to push Kirk's calls for open dialogue and debate on controversial topics.
You like him or not, it's much more than a loss of someone. It's the fact that now my generation is being taught that we shouldn't speak out or things like this can happen, and that's exactly why I'm out here and showing a presence, because it's extremely important that in times like this we don't cower down and fall into what ultimately this is meant to do, and we actually reach out and like there were Catholic people here, Jewish people here. I mean, we're all coming in with unity, and that's exactly what you need right now.
Impacted the youth a lot, and I think that he had a huge sway in the way that the election went, but not only that, he is a huge believer in Christ, and I think that when people look up to him in that sense as well, it takes on a way bigger meaning.
Funeral plans for Charlie Kirk have not yet been announced. U.S. senators from both sides of the aisle spoke out today to condemn his killing and all political violence.
There should be no finger pointing, because this is an attack on our democracy itself. And if we fail to quell those fires, our democracy will be doomed.
And we're just here as a group to say America cannot govern itself this way. We all have to speak with one voice and find the person who did this and bring them to justice.
Minnesota Democrat Senator Amy Klobuchar reflected on Kirk's wife and his young children who have lost their father. She said on Sunday she is attending the funeral of a 10-year-old girl shot and killed at a Minneapolis church just over 2 weeks ago. Many people first learned about Charlie Kirk's shooting by watching it play out in clips that were posted online. Graphic videos of his death were easy to find on social media. KTVU's Jenna Katsuyama has a look tonight at the challenges this poses for both children and adults trying to process the violence.
I learned about it, I think, from YouTube Shorts.
Millions of people online or on social media saw the videos, some close up, showing in great detail the shooting of Charlie Kirk.
Some of the videos too were looped in, like it's repetitive, like 5 times, and they're just zooming in what has happened, which is crazy.
Dr. Garen Wintermuth, a violence prevention analyst at UC Davis, says social media has changed how the nation sees gun violence.
Part of what everybody is going through today is the anguish of being an unwilling, in some cases, witness to what occurred.
And he says that trauma can have a bigger impact on youth. Lauren Greenberg with the Oakland-based Youth Alive organization has a mission to prevent violence and heal trauma for youth in the Bay Area.
I think that something that's important for parents to be thinking about and to say to their children is acknowledging that what they saw is traumatic, that violence is inherently a trauma, and also that not all types of violence look the same.
Experts say it's important to give young people context.
On social media, everyone feels so emboldened to be extremely radical about it. So that's the general reaction that you see online versus what you see in the mainstream media.
One of the problems with social media is that there are no gates, there are no filters.
Experts say leaders and parents need to show young people they reject violence, both in actions and their words.
There are people on both ends of the political spectrum who want violence because they see it as the way to make the social change that they're after. The vast majority of us say no to that, but we say it quietly. We need to say it out loud.
I think that it's important to remember that each human life has value. We each contain multitudes within us. And if you approach yourself from that perspective and you approach other people from that perspective, from a place of recognizing folks' inherent humanity, I think that that's the first step in actually preventing violence because it allows you to develop empathy.
Jana Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And you can find extensive coverage of Charlie Kirk's life and death up at our website, westcoastwrap.com. Some of what you'll find online includes a breakdown of how Kirk's open-air debates made him a huge draw on college campuses all across the country. The suspected shooter who opened fire at a high school in Colorado yesterday has been identified tonight as 16-year-old Desmond Holly, a student at that school. Investigators say he was radicalized through an extremist network, although they didn't offer any details on his views. The shooting happened yesterday at Evergreen High School, about 30 miles west of Denver. Investigators say Holly shot and wounded 2 classmates with a revolver. Both of them remain in critical condition. Holly died at the hospital from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
The suspect's gun was fired a lot. The reason we have so many crime scene areas inside is because we have windows shot out. We have lockers that were shot up. We're finding spent rounds, unspent rounds, so it's a huge area. And the school, I was told, is 3 levels. So lots of work to be done, but he fired multiple times.
One of the victims has been identified by the family as 18-year-old Matthew Silverstone. We're also learning tonight there was a school resource police officer at the school that day, but they were sent to a nearby accident, leaving no officer on site when that attack began. We have an update tonight on the investigation into a school shooting threat in Pierce County, Washington. Authorities say they've seized nearly 24 guns from a 13-year-old boy at the center of this case. We now know these 23 guns that the Sheriff's Department found were mostly 3D printed ghost guns, which are illegal. Authorities took the boy into custody early Saturday morning after getting information about disturbing posts on social media. They also found bags filled with ammo hidden in his room behind a pet turtle and bullets wrapped with messages. Investigators explained the evidence they found, suggesting the teenager was obsessed with school shooters.
Images of him dressed in clothing imitating the Columbine shooter. He also would post quotes and stuff that he had studied from the Uvalde shooter and other shooters that we've had in the past. He had their images around his room. It almost like he was idolizing them.
Deputy Caputo said that she is concerned the courts may decide to release the teenager and that he would potentially have access to harmful materials and weapons once again. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, beams going up, concrete being poured tonight. See how construction of the A's Las Vegas ballpark is going vertical.
And let's head on over to Santa Monica Beach. Don't see anybody strolling along the shore right now, but 1 week from today, boy, you'll see people flocking to the water. I'll tell you why with your West Coast Wrap forecast.
Just like trying to keep them contained, even in long lines, is challenging.
The trials of traveling with a little one. Tonight, a program to make things just a bit easier for parents expands here in the West. We're seeing signs of progress at the site of the A's Las Vegas ballpark. A new camera set up along the strip is streaming all of the construction activity at the site. The team says crews have now gone vertical, meaning that work has begun on the above-ground framework of the stadium. You can see walls and beams going up near the top of your screen there. The 33,000-seat ballpark is expected to open up to fans in 2028. A program designed to save time and reduce stress for air travelers is now expanding here in the West. Fox 13's Tina Giuliano shows us how it shakes up the airport security screening routine.
It can be a challenge to travel with young kids. You have the stroller, you have more luggage, maybe a car seat, and so TSA has a solution.
Here we are!
Ashley Baker is no stranger to the airport. Her husband is an airline pilot.
I often travel by myself with my 4 children and special needs daughter.
Traveling with young kids, she says, can be hard to navigate.
Like, little kids have to have a lot of snacks and toys and all the things in their backpacks, so just like trying to keep them contained even in long lines is challenging.
But TSA rolled out their solution, a family-only lane.
They can step up to the lane. We'll have transportation security officers actually helping them divest their items. They'll stay with the family. They'll keep the family together. So it's a less stressful experience for families.
These lanes are in 11 airports across the country, including Salt Lake City.
When you come to the main checkpoint, you'll go, and once you go around the corner, a TSO will see you, or one of the airport employees will see a family, and they'll direct them into lane 14 and 15.
For those traveling without kids, like Cynthia Theobald, it helps the flow of the TSA line.
Taking people away from that line, so as long as it moves smoothly and everybody gets ahead faster, then I'm all for it.
For Baker, she's grateful for a smoother trip to the airport.
A lane for just families and kids would make it significantly easier, especially when, you're trying to gather little ones through a long lane.
Reporting from Salt Lake City International Airport, Tina Giuliano, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And there are 2 other airports here in the West that offer this service. They're Hawaii's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport in Honolulu, as well as John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California. A new high-tech safety system is now being used at one small airport in Southern California, the city of San Diego, which owns and operates Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport, says the system of GPS and sensors is designed to prevent aircraft from entering runways or taxiways at the wrong time, and this is to reduce the risk of crashes. Data shows most high-risk incursions are caused by air traffic control errors.
It's intended to, as a next generation newer technology, to provide awareness, to the air traffic control system, the people who are operating it, of where these airplanes are.
This comes as new analysis of FAA data shows that between 2021 and 2024, San Diego International Airport had a total of 21 incursions, 3 of which were high risk. In that same time frame, Montgomery Gibbs had 67 incursions, 3 of which were high risk. Fewer incursions were reported at other local airports around the San Diego area. Turning now to our weather, and some people in parts of Oregon are facing a flash flood watch tonight. Satellite images show storms developing in the central and northeast parts of the state this afternoon. There is concern that heavy rain could trigger flooding and create debris flows in some of the areas that have been burned during recent wildfires. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, who is tracking those storms, as well as a big change in the temperatures across much of the West. Roberta?
Oh, you got it straight there, Alex. Hi, everybody. Yes, that was an early season storm that's causing the copious amounts of precipitation from California all the way lifting to the north of the Oregon area. I say an early season because officially the rainy season begins on October 1st, but we've already got measurable precipitation. You can see the bands of showers, the core of the area low pressure right there, and that wraparound moisture in a counterclockwise fashion, that's what's causing that flash flood watch in effect until 9 o'clock tonight right there, or now 11. They've extended it for Crook, Grant, Morrill, and Wheeler counties, another particular watch across the border there in Idaho. And this encompasses Adams, Boise, Jim, and Valley. And this one is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. So meanwhile, that area low pressure, it'll finally traverse in an easterly fashion past the Sierra Nevada mountain range. We have another area low pressure on tap here. This will interfere with the late Sunday plans of the Pacific Northwest. But right now, we have 74 degrees in Salt Lake City, 87 degrees in Vegas, 84 in Albuquerque, a pair of 9s in Phoenix, and now 63 degrees in Seattle after realizing a high today of 67 degrees, and that's below the average of 74. San Francisco with the clouds departing there, 69 degrees. That's pretty spot on for this time of the year. Meanwhile, to Phoenix, a couple of degrees above normal at 104 degrees. And then our last stop, Avalon and Catalina Island, 22 miles off the seashore of Los Angeles coastline. We're in LA today with 79. It was 74 in Avalon and currently 79 degrees in downtown Los Angeles, 92 in Vegas, according to this particular computer model. How about 83 at the state capitol in California? So the departure of that area low pressure, plenty precipitation, monsoonal moisture lifting out of Arizona, heading directly towards the Denver area where you have some pretty stormy weather in the Mile High City right now, all the way through about Saturday. And temperatures will be dropping a good 10 degrees as well. We are forecasting highs in the 70s in the Pacific Northwest, in Seattle all the way through Saturday, dropping on Sunday with increasing cloud cover and the rain showers. You're looking good in San Francisco. It's summer's last hurrah. Temperature in San Francisco by Tuesday at 80 degrees. Los Angeles, you're going to bear the brunt of a heat wave coming by Tuesday as well. And then triple digits continue in the desert, the Sonora Desert. Alex.
All right, get ready for a bump in those temperatures.
Yeah.
Roberta, thank you. Emotional ceremonies mark today's 24th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in New York City. The names of those who died were read at the National September 11th Memorial and Museum. Ceremonies were also held at the Pentagon and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the two other locations where hijacked planes crashed. Nearly 3,000 people died in the attacks. People across the West found unique ways to mark this somber anniversary. At the University of Utah, ROTC members climbed the equivalent of 110 stories with their gear. The 110 stories symbolizes the height of the World Trade Center towers that collapsed. In Surprise, Arizona, firefighters carried out a similar climb today. Clark County, Nevada officials held a solemn flag-raising ceremony near the Las Vegas Strip. And along California's Central Coast, Hollister High School students mounted a stunning flag display. Tonight, Fox 13's John Hopperstad shows us how firefighters gathered for a service today in Seattle.
A flag station happening at Seattle fire stations all over the city, including this one here in Belltown. And it happened right at 8:46 a.m. That was the moment the first plane hit the World Trade Center there on 9/11. And they're honoring and reading a portion of the names of the 343 firefighters who were lost.
Joseph Anello, Brian G. Ahern, Louis Arena.
This all happening on the roof of the fire station here. They also lowered the flag to half staff, and firefighters say it's important to remember, to keep remembering what happened all those years ago on this day.
There aren't a lot of guys that were in the fire service at that time. I believe only two of us that were standing here today were. These things mean a lot to the legacy guys, the guys that are going out or get retired in a couple years. But we need to push that into the next generation of firefighters. So we want to keep that gravity of the lives lost, the 343 lost on that day. and their families in our minds and our hearts on this day especially, and just carry that into the future.
That ceremony again happening here at the fire station in Belltown, but it also happened at 846 at fire stations across the city of Seattle. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, it was a record day on Wall Street. Tonight, why investors are in such a mood to buy. Also, some Southern California fire victims find help where they didn't expect it.
Heart just kind of went out to that. I just thought maybe there's something I can do.
Anything helps. Anything that we do get, then it saves the money towards the rebuild process.
On Wall Street today, the major averages set new records. The final inflation reading before next week's meeting of the Federal Reserve is making investors confident an interest rate cut is coming. The Consumer Price Index moved higher than expected for the month of August. And you can see here the Dow jumped today by 617 points. The Nasdaq gained 157 points, and the S&P 500 was up by 55. Companies that could benefit from lower interest rates rallied today during this trading session, including many home builders. Well, in Southern California, a generous donation is helping the victims of the Eaton fire to rebuild. As Fox 11's Rachel Aragon reports tonight, a custom cabinet maker has offered to donate new kitchens to a group of homeowners who lost everything in that January fire.
We come back weekly and we visit.
Karina Vasquez is just one of many Altadena residents still reeling from the devastating fire that wiped away multi-generational homes in this area.
It's a stressful process. You know, we met with architect, but we don't think we'll be able to break ground until maybe December.
Well, the rebuild hasn't even started for her and the 7 other family members who lived in their 100-year-old home. Support is on the way for her and some of her neighbors.
My heart just kind of went out to that. I just thought maybe there's something I can do.
Sean Belschner is the owner of Funtime Cabinet Factory. He started his custom cabinet shop business about 30 years ago. But maybe one of the biggest projects to date for him is helping people in Altadena rebuild their life.
All right, you got those bumpers on there? I think that a lot of times we think that doing something beneficial for people is going to take a lot of money and a lot of time. But I'm a cabinet maker, and I thought maybe I could just give some cabinetry away.
He's making sure 5 families in Altadena impacted by the fires will get new cabinets and a kitchen at no cost. The Canoga Park business owner is not doing it alone. Sean is also relying on some help.
So I've been calling some of my trade partners who are going to be donating some materials, Unilin, drawer box companies, like all different kind of companies.
It's very important for us to have our kids here. Like I said, my kids and their special needs have their resources here. Our church family is here.
No matter how big or how small, Karina says she's grateful her community is not being forgotten more than 6 months after the fires broke out.
There's so many people impacted and everything helps. Like anything helps. Anything that we do get, then it saves the money towards the rebuild process.
Yeah, a great way to help those victims of the fire. Again, that was Fox 11's Rachel Aragon reporting tonight. By the way, Funtime Cabinet Factory based in Los Angeles. Have a great night.